If you have heard anything about the ancient world, you will most probably have heard about democratic Athens and Alexander the Great, not least because of all the recent movies on Alexander. But what no one will probably have told you, and what no book will tell you, is that democratic Athens and Alexander the Great, democracy and absolute monarchy, were separated in the ancient Greek world by about 80 years, a single lifetime. My book, From Democrats to Kings, is about that transition, the brutal dawn of a new world, from the fall of Athens to the rise of Alexander the Great. In bringing the focus back to talking about the Greek world, this book moves the dialogue that has been going on about ancient Rome in series like the HBO and BBC Two series on Rome and Mary Beard's recent book on Pompeii back to ancient Greece. It takes up the mantle left by Tom Holland's very successful Persian Fire by explaining not just events and characters, but transition. It seeks to get back into the footsteps of the ancients and to see the world not as an inevitable series of events, as history is so often taught in schools, but as people on the ground making decisions, not knowing what was going to happen next. That's the way, in my book, to teach history. That's come to me by teaching not just in the classroom, but teaching kids out on sites across Greece, from leading tours with cruise companies like Easy Cruise, and from, perhaps stupidly, agreeing to run the Athenian Marathon, the ancient marathon, back in 2007. To understand how decisions were made, how they were sweated, how people tried to make sense of the world around them and do the best they could for themselves in a rapidly changing world. But why should we care about this story that happened so many thousands of years ago, however good, however interesting it may be? For me, the key is that the story of transition in ancient Greece between Athens and Alexander, that story of a brutal dawn of a new world, echoes a lot with the world in which we find ourselves today. MPs' expenses, election fever, globalization, immigration, the problems of social cohesion, all of these are reflected in this period of transition. All of these issues the ancient Greeks also had to deal with. We can learn a lot by looking at how they saw the problems and how they decided to respond. But there's also something a lot more important, I think, than just MPs defrauding the public. This book talks about issues like democracy and freedom that are central to our understanding and our way of life today. It seeks to expose some of the myths that surround discussions of democracy and freedom, both then and now, and allow people a better understanding of what these important, crucial concepts really mean. It also tells a story which I think many modern-day countries can understand, transitions of power. And it tells a story which many scholars and explorers from nations all across the world have had a hand in shaping over the last 100 years of scholarship and investigation into the ancient Greek world. This book seeks to think about the proximity and distance that we have to our ancient history. And it seeks to explore, expose and understand a piece of time that we all have a stake in today.